welcome to another edition of Tech Tuesday presented by Delta Media Group, where we realize that it is impossible to run through a campground. You can only ran through a campground because it's past tense. So today, we are going to take a look at the MCFL system. We've done some videos on this in the past, but we have added functionality to it, so we're due for an update, so we're going to take another look. Just to give you a little background on what the MCFL system is, MCFL stands for My Customer for Life. And what this system does is when you add customers to it, it will send out a drip marketing email to them periodically. It can be weekly, it can be monthly, it can even be quarterly. And that email will contain links to some articles on your website. We build all these articles in-house, so they are completely unique. And the other interesting thing that this system does is when a customer receives one of these emails and clicks on a link to go and view the article, it will keep track of the fact that they chose that article. So they'll get more articles like that one in the future. The whole idea is that the system will be constantly updating itself to make sure that it is sending the customer the most engaging content possible in order to kind of help them get engaged with those emails. So, and the emails are, or the articles rather, are things related to buying, selling, or home improvement or property management, kind of. So the idea is that there's something in there that could cater for anybody, regardless of what point of the buyer or seller process they are in, or even if they're in none at all. It can still help you stay engaged with them through those like home improvement articles. So the system's pretty cool. So in order to set it up, or in order to get it configured, we can either go over here to Marketing and expand that menu and go down and click on MCFL and Printable Articles, or you can just type MCFL up here in the Quick Actions bar, and it'll come up in the autocompleter, and you can click there to get over to the page. So either way, it will take you through to this page, where you can find an Articles tile up here at the top and a Campaigns tile. So right now we are on the Campaigns page. So if I were to click on Campaign, it would just reload the page we're on. If I click Articles, that'll take me over to the Articles page where I can view all the individual articles. So we'll get in and take a look at that in a minute. So to start off, we have a description up here at the top that just gives you some information, basically what I just went over, about the MCFL, or My Customer for Life system, and how that works. And then as we scroll down here, this is where we can actually do the configuration and determine when these emails go out, or how often they go out, and who they go to. So, to turn it on, the first thing we would do is, if this enabled box is not selected, we would click that checkbox to select it. You can see if I uncheck it, it shows as disabled. So we'll check that. That enables the campaign. And then the next thing we'll do is add customers to it. So this determines who it will send to. So I'm just going to click on Customers Groups. There we go. And now from here, I can use this option at the top, which is what we typically suggest. If your customer database consists entirely or even primarily of customers, then you can just check this box and it will automatically include everyone in your database in these emails. So that way, automatically everyone is getting them. Now, if anyone doesn't want to get them, they can still opt out in the email. But this ensures that every time a new customer is added to your database, they're automatically added to this campaign so that they can start getting these messages. If we don't want it to go to everyone, or we have some specific people we'd like to send it to, I can select this option, and now we can go down here to the Group section, and I can put a check mark next to any of the groups that we would like this to go to. Now, if I were to check those and then go down here and click Save, that would include those groups in this campaign, so anyone in any of the selected customer groups would start getting it. Or, if I have some individual customers that I want to add it to, I can go down to our Add Remove Customers section, and it works exactly the same way. I would just check the box, and anybody with a check mark next to them is in the campaign, anybody without a checkbox is not. Now, if I'm looking for a specific user and I have a large list of users here, I can just type their name up here, and you can see that it will automatically narrow this down. Now, those other options that I checked, or the other customers that I checked, just because they're not being displayed doesn't mean they're not still checked. So since I already checked them, I can narrow this down, check some more, and hit Save. It'll include all those that I checked before, plus the ones that I just checked now and can see on the screen now. So something worth keeping in mind as you go through and configure the system if you do want it to go to specific users. But that's all there is to it. So at that point, you're really done. I mean, that's your initial configuration here. So you just go in here, add the customers you'd like to add, or ideally go in here and just set that to add everybody and hit Save. And now you're all done. And you can see that because I selected all, it dropped my entire customer database over here. This number differs a little bit from the one that it showed on the other screen as my total customer count, because not all the customer accounts I have in here have email addresses or are valid recipients for this. So that's why that number is a little bit different. But there you go. Now, if I had added individual users or groups, they would all show up here also. And then I could also use this Add Remove button to add and remove those. And it does the same thing as clicking on this Customers and Groups button. So at that point, if there's no other configuration I'd like to do, or I don't want to customize these emails any further, I'm essentially done. I've added customers to it, I've enabled it. You can see the next day it's going to run in my case, and they'll start going out. Now, if we scroll down the page a little further, we have some settings that allow us to control some aspects of the email itself. So first off, we've got this list of short codes that you can use to fill in with customer or your information or even article information. If you put any of these short codes in the email, they'll be replaced by the customer's actual information in the case of the customer ones. So if I say customer name first and I copy that and go down to my email, I can add that right here and I can say dear customer name first, and then every customer that receives this section right here will be replaced with their first name. So that is how those short codes work. Now the other thing I can do here is I can control the frequency of this email. So you can see mine is set to weekly, so that means every Thursday it's going to send, and note here that they're only sent on Thursdays. But I can switch that out to bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly if I want, depending on how often I wanted to send those. In any of those cases, I can use the date down here to select the first date that they'll be sent. Because they only send on Thursdays, I can only select Thursdays for that particular start date. The reason for that is that we write the new articles every Thursday. So we add the new articles to the system on Thursdays, so that's when the system will send the email out. And then here we are. So you can also use those short codes in the subject line, so you can customize that here. So it's going to give you the first article plus however many articles are included in the email. Typically it's 3, but once a customer has selected or shown interest in a certain article category, so let's say they got their first email and they clicked on a home improvement article, the next email they get will include an additional home improvement article. So in that case, they'll actually get 4 articles instead of 3. So you can modify that subject line, and you can see that we don't suggest you modify it, but you are able to. And then down here, as we already pointed out, you can modify the email content. So I just dropped in a short code, but you could actually go in here and you can add additional content. This is a WYSIWYG editor here, so you can change the formatting, you can add pictures, things like that. And you can see there are also a couple that I saved in here that'll show testimonials and even a property information here. You can do that, but it doesn't make a ton of sense in these emails, but it is a thing that you can do. So once you have this email set up the way you like it, you just click Update MCFL Message, and you're all done. You've saved your customized version of the email, as well as your frequency settings and your first send day setting, and you're good to go. Now, something that we've added relatively recently here is this Send Email Preview button. So we realized that before you have the system automatically send these to your customers, you'd like to get one sent out to yourself so you can take a look at it. Realize that because the articles themselves, which articles are included in the email, are customized per customer, that you're not necessarily going to get the same articles that everyone else does, but this will give you a good idea of the general email format and what a person that is receiving this email on your behalf for the first time is actually going to see. So you just click Send Email Preview, and then it will pick up your public email address. So if you want to send it there, you just click on Send, or you can put in whatever email address you'd like here and click Send, and the system will send you a preview email for this MCFL. Or the MCFL system, rather. So that is how you can see a preview. Now the next half of this system doesn't have to do with the automated emails or the campaigns, but rather the articles themselves. So if we scroll up here to the top of the page, we can click on our articles tile, not title. And that takes us to the articles page. And now from here, this is a full list of all of our MCFL articles. So from here, you can actually preview them, you can read through them, you can search for a specific one if there is a specific article that you're looking for. So that can be nice if a customer references an article, you can come in here and just search for it by title. And you can see as I type, it narrows down over here. Now to actually view the article, I can click over here on Actions and click View Preview. So that shows me what this article looks like. Now this basically would be the print version of the article, because that's kind of what this page is for, so you can print these out or share them in other ways. But here we are. So I can modify some of the information. If you're familiar with our eCards and Flyers system, this is very similar. You roll your mouse over, it highlights in red, that means you can edit it. So you would just click there and modify it as you want. And we can scroll down the line here, and then this is actually the article content itself. And you see I can also modify the logo here. Now for all these things that I modify, if I were to make changes to this and I decided that I wanted all those changes to these fields up here and the logo to be the default for whenever I load up one of these templates, I can flip this switch and that will set all of my settings on this template as the default for me. So if I open up any future templates like this to either print them or create a PDF for them, it'll use the settings and the verbiage that I set up here already. So it can be a nice time saver. Now, in addition to being able to read the article, the next thing I can do is I can click print, and that'll just bring me to the print dialog, and I can print straight from here. Or I can generate a PDF. Now, the nice thing about a PDF is if I want to take this somewhere, just save the file and take it to a print shop or send it to a print shop to have these actually printed out professionally, I can do that. So I would just generate PDF, save the file, and then do whatever I need to with it. So we'll go back to the list here, or back to our article list. Now the next thing I can do here is, if we click on actions for any of the articles, I can generate a PDF directly from here. So that really is just a shortcut to get that PDF generated without actually going into the preview page and doing it from there. So just a little bit of a time saver for your convenience there. The next thing I can do is I can make a Facebook post out of this. So if I have gone over here to social media and I've connected my Facebook business page to my DeltaNet account so that it can auto post, I can make a post of a specific MCFL article directly from this articles page. So we'll just go to actions, I'll click on Facebook post. You'll see it opened a new tab for me so that I didn't lose the page I was on, so I can go back over here to articles. So here we are on the Facebook manual post page. So from here I can click on business pages. I only have the one, but if you do have multiple business pages, you'll see them all here, so you can select which one you want to post to. And then down here, in addition to create my own message, there is a custom MCFL post option. So if we select that, you can see that is the post link, so that's the link to the article I chose. And then I can add some post verbiage. So what it's going to do is you're going to have a link to the page, and that'll pick up a thumbnail and everything automatically. But whenever you create a Facebook post that links out to a specific web page or website, there's a little bit of text up above that preview. You can define what that text is here. So this is basically our suggestion text. You can copy that, and then you can just paste it down there if that's what you want to use. Now the reason we don't autofill that is because you have to control the content of a post. It really has to do with Facebook's posting stipulations as to how we can have that interface work. Otherwise, we would just have this fill in down here automatically. So that is why there is that extra copy and paste step. But if you do copy and paste, you can paste this in here. You can modify it however you'd like. Or instead of copying and pasting, you could just write out your own message that relates to this article and go with that one. So whichever way you go, once you have it all set up here, you'll just go down here. You can either schedule a time for this to post. If you wanted to schedule later on, you would just check this box and you can get your time scheduled in there. Or you can just create post and that will kick the post out right away. So then shortly after you click that button, the post will show up on your Facebook business page. So we'll close out this tab, go back into our articles page. Now the one last thing you can do from here, in addition to the standard data tables piece of this where you can sort by these different categories and things to find different articles, the one additional settings piece you can do here is we do have a gear up here at the top. If I click on that, this allows me to set up defaults ahead of time. So I mentioned that while you're looking at a preview, so we'll go back into a preview, I can modify all these fields and then use this toggle to save all those modified fields as my default. What I could do, instead of doing it that way, is I could come in ahead of time, and we'll just go back to our article list page. I could click this gear and I could set all my default settings here. So this is that first piece of that email, so I can modify that text however I'd like. I can put some additional text, some body text below that heading, and I can define which logo I want to be used by default in any of these printable MCFL articles. So this would just be a nice way to get it all set up ahead of time, set it up the way I want, click Save Settings, and then every time I open an article preview or every time I generate a PDF, it's going to use the settings that I chose there. So there you have it. That is the MCFL system. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to send an email into support@deltagroup.com or give us a call, and we can walk you through whatever you need. So thanks a lot, and we will see you again next week.